Welcome to CATtheMinion Patreon. This is going to be the October deep dive reading for Libra. So that's Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Venus, anyone that's affected by the machinations of Libra energy, or cross watchers, or whoever just feels like coming on in here. So for September, I used a spread that was called Life Purpose Reading. And for October, I'm using a spread that I have for sale called Roadblock Moguls. Now, Roadblock Moguls is a $37 reading, but I'm going to use the charms because I use my charms for Patreon, which makes it actually a $44 reading. So the way that this is set up, I've got a row for the 5D, like your higher self realm. And or like the 5D squared, sort of like the committee of the higher selves that you belong to, like a soul group. And for that, I'm using this Radley Valentine Angel deck here. And I have a row for the 3D, which is where you would exist in your own day-to-day world. And in between them is this middle place of the 5D, and it's sort of the telephone line link that gives this sort of breakdown of why the 3D isn't picking up the message coming from the higher area. So this is sort of like the higher self acting as a messenger between the committee and you as an individual. It's sort of a trickle down spiritual economics, which is why there's always there tends to be some garbling. The message doesn't always get there. And I have an oracle card for wrap up and explanation for this reading, and I'm using the Dreams of Gaia Tarot because it's atypical. So this is the mini Rider-Waite, and here I have the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. What's interesting is that these cards are like the decks that I have that have black bands on them. They all came out at once, so that's fun. And then I have the charms right here. I have shuffled since I used them a half an hour ago on a different reading. Come on, Fred, fucking cooperate. My sign is backwards anyway. Fred's being a little asshole. Okay. So I'm gonna get these cards laid out. Oh, incidentally, there's a column for Wands energy, which is that sort of gut directive, the modus operandi, and a column for Cups energy, that's the emotional arena, and a column for Swords energy, so that's thoughts and perspectives. And then a card, a column for Pentacles, which has to do with the physical body, directives for the physical body, or manifestation, or resources, and or all of those things. I don't know if these cards are just feeling thicker because the edges are all busted, or if they're just chonkier than most of my other decks. Probably both. Ooh. Okay, so we've got two cards in the emotional area, and the Wands card is in the challenge position. I'm going to check where the camera is after I get these laid out. So it's like, you know those memes where it's like, what's stopping you from being like this? This is kind of like what that is in tarot format. Come on, fucking angels. Angels in the outfield. Well, the top is still nice, but the sides are all effed. My dogs are barking. They're not my dogs, they're my neighbor's dogs. Alright, so I get the middle cards. I feel like this is like way out, or I'm gonna move this over here. Nope. That way I won't have to reach as far across the table and hurt my back. It's almost as if I was cooking with gas today. Okay, so this card and this one. Wow, I'm just dropping shit everywhere. I do have a bi-weekly horoscope by element that's going to be up on YouTube by the time this is done and up. So it gives sort of a in-between kind of catch-up. So I would go ahead and, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube, go over and do that so you can see those and the card of the day and the pick a pile for the week and all that jazz. Alright, so here's the mobiles. Slippery today. Yes. Icy mobiles. I'm gonna have to move this. I'm gonna have to move the camera, but that's alright. So give me the 3D. Give me the 3D. I love how this filters this way, where it's like the cards get smaller as they filter down into reality. The soul expansion is the realness. It's the real tea, man. I just feel judgmental of the cards when they come out all cockeyed, and I feel like I'm supposed to choose them. There we go. It's crooked, but it's there. I'm gonna get to my one oracle card so I can get that honking chunk out of my way too. Oculus Rift. I guess I'll drop some charms on this before I start the reading. God damn it. Slippery card kind of day. Alright. Oh, actually I had some come out. Sorry about that whale. I was just testing my patience today. I'm gonna have to start drawing up my list of charms that I need to make soon. I got... Here goes the whale again. It's that kind of a day. Oh, okay. I think that's... Okay, I guess that's it. Kind of all over the place here. See if I can get in closer to that. There's a charm down there. The stop sign. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Can't remember what song that is now. It's kind of annoying. Okay, so off on the end here, I got the stop sign going the other way. So we're going the distance. We're going for speed. Something in the hour of need, time of need. What are the sunglasses and the cube representing the material world? Future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. Interesting. Alright, what are we doing? Libra. Okay. So let's look at Libras. Okay, I guess I'm getting an overview over here. I guess this is Jupiter. Yeah, it's Jupiter. So Jupiter going retrograde in Jupiter currently retrograde in Capricorn. As of this recording, will be going direct in mid-September. So by the time October rolls around and this reading is 4, Jupiter will be direct. But it came in backwards up here. It's going the other way from where it's going now. Right? It stopped and turned. I'm not going to say the rest of that phrase, because that is not PC. Alright. So in the Wands energy, coming from the higher self committee, we have the 6 of water in a challenge position. My notes all cockeyed over here. I have a list of what I'm doing, and then I have a list that's my cheat sheet for the McCliff's notes for the signs and the cards, because I don't remember them yet. 6 of water is Mercury in Aquarius. Okay. So we're dealing with... Okay. So when we come out of Virgo and go into Libra, while Uranus is still retrograde, the challenge is going to be... Oh, I read that wrong. This is the moon in Scorpio. God damn it. The sun in Scorpio. That didn't sound right. I tried to read this as a 6 of Swords because I had the 6 of Swords in another reading that I did today, and the whale came out with it, and it was all about going deep into the feelings, so scratch that whole bit. Nevertheless, Uranus is currently retrograde. And we are going to be coming out of Virgo. We have the sun in Scorpio here, and it's tilting. So it does have that scorpionic energy of going deeper into the darkness, especially with the sun trying to turn over into moon energy. But the difference here is that it's sort of like... It's like putting the blanket over the past. Like putting a shroud over the past. And the idea of not romanticizing it. Right? It says memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. So as I... Okay. My cup is half empty. And then this piano here, I'm sensing that concept played again, Sam. It's like, no, don't keep playing that broken record. I don't want to keep reliving my past. I need to be able to let it come to its natural sunset on that time. This whale is kind of straddling here. So let's see what's going on in the 3-dimensional space with this edict from above, right? This is the core thing. Like, my sun center, I want to let go of my past so I can be my own self as I am now. And then what happens in the 3-dimensional zone is 10 of Cups. So it's sort of like we've got the message. Or maybe I'm living my best life, but are you still harboring those 6? 10 of Cups here. Mars in Pisces. So what's the difference? Okay, so we have a different fire sign in a different water sign. I think this goes back to that Jupiter energy. Although why, I don't know, because that's the one that's missing. Jupiter is the one that's the energy that's missing from here. Now what's interesting is that the solar, the wand's energy is coming in with feelings. So it's like in my core there's something that has to be dealt with regarding my emotions. So I have a unicorn in the star here, but I'm going to go back to that. And this whale was kind of straddling, right? The whale was kind of crossover between the wands and the emotion spaces. Okay. So I have the scythe, number 10, with a Jack of Pentacles, could be a knight or a page. I have the 10 of Swords inverted, with the ship inverted. Now I just said I'm going the distance, I'm going for speed, but here we're not going anywhere except to get these swords taken out of our back. Notice the total here, 13, a transformation. But here I have potentially 11 or potentially 13, so we could have another death cycle here. Death sickle. This is a Knight of Pentacles. And a 44, the magnifying glass. I need to look at something a little clearer. I need to take another look at my past. It's time to harvest this so that I can, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, slowly move forward in my path. Right? Because I'm not going anywhere in this fast ship. I'm not going for speed. I've got to take a slow ride here. Right, because my back still hurts from all those knives. Take a look in a book, A Reading Rainbow. Interesting that it's coming out when there's inner child work going on here. So what's coming out of this energy, even though you'd think the scythe would be not good, normally, this sort of fantastical creature here, but we have third eye opening. And then there's the star energy, which is Aquarius. So this hope, which breaks down to strength and or justice. 44 here breaking down to 8 as well, strength or justice. And then this third eye energy, I'm opening up my mind to this sort of whispers of the universe. Now notice the difference between here was the 4, and I do see 4 here twice, but it's coming in as 11, right? Divine timing, 11 times 4 to get me to this 10 here. Now this does look like that bright future, bright material future. So this emotional content here, now I have a bone that's going the other way between the emotional content and the swords. And when I touch this, I heard I have a bone to pick with you. Right, so we might be holding on to a grudge, which might be part of the problem here. Which might be why this Jupiter wheel energy was not moving either. Well, let's look at this, what's going on in this emotional edict coming from above. So there's the 10 of Swords again, but here it's upright. The end of a difficult situation, embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Recovering from an addiction. Okay. And then the Page of Air, which could be a 1 or 11, but would still break down to 11. So here it says logical, honest, impulsive, curious, challenging information, delays or changes to plans, truth delivered without tact. But it's coming in inverted. Now notice for Libra that we have air in the emotions and water in the fire area. Right, so it's like everything's just a little bit off kilter. Like we're a little bit out of alignment, which is, I see why this star is coming in here, because it does have to do a little bit with alignment as well. the sort of a need to open consciousness and let the stars give you their wisdom. But this, like, I have a bone to pick with you. It's like, kind of like, I know I was addicted to your bullshit, or you lied to me and now I'm addicted to something, some kind of substance maybe. But, and I see this, there's something we need to address. Now, how is this coming into 3D in the emotions? We have the Three of Pentacles inverted, which is interesting. Mars in Capricorn, inverted though. Alright, so this is going to be during the time that Aries is Mars is retrograde in Aries. Jesus, if I could talk. So both of these end up with Mars energy in the three-dimensional area. Saturn retrograde, but Saturn's going to be going direct, but the Mars energy is going to be retrograde. It's like I have to redo my entire life plan, or I don't want to work with you anymore. You're not going according to the plan. Alright, so what do we need to address? So we've got this whale here, and then we have, going the other way, the goose. Like this idea of, like, I've been goosed. Like it happened in the past. This whale is like, I need to dive deeper emotionally. This also is like angry goose here. It's like I was very ready to, you know, like honk if you're ready to snap kind of energy. I'm going to put this up here. So what's in the middle here? Okay, so we have 23 the mice. This is the Seven of Wands. This is I'm eating away at you little by little, right? That's kind of how addiction works. And it might just be like I thought we were good, but little by little, while I was sitting in the water, it suddenly reached a boiling point. And now I realize you've been chipping away at my sanity this whole goddamn time. It doesn't have to necessarily be between two people, though. But we're very emotive, and we have some anger going on here, which is probably why this Mars is coming out that way. But here we have Mars in Leo. Seven of Wands energy. That's that, like, I'm gonna stand up for myself. But here, it's sort of coming in as like, hang on, hold on a minute, what do you think you're doing? 5, a pivot. 23. And then the snake here, right? You are out to get me. 7 energy. And this has the Queen of Wands on it. Pisces and Aries, so there's that more of that Aries energy. Notice how this 8 here is incomplete, right? There is no strength when there's nothing but attack. So it's theft, it's attack. But here we have the Ace of Wands now, 25, a ring with a shift. There's this idea of commitment, but I think this is more like commitment to self, to taking control of your own internal area. So notice that we have this Ace of Wands here is the message that's trying to come down through this, I don't want to work with you anymore. Like you're not doing the plan right. What's interesting is that linking them is that there's this emotional block to taking on the power of your own inner core. But the directive is still coming through as I'm going to complete my emotions as a task, even though I feel like nobody's helping me. Well, fine then, if you're not going to help me, I'm going to fucking do it myself. That's how it do. Which is interesting because I can see the hand with the wedding ring on it nearby, although that's the next column with a cowboy hat. I'm gonna ride out to my own self and get married. Alright, so what's over here in the swords here? Awakening. Alright, so here's the Hangman. This is Archangel Gabriel. Look at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself, right? So it's like, I'm not gonna work with you. Right, stop isn't permanent, it's turned around, because we're gonna keep going eventually. But here we have this wake-up call. The alarm clock even. And this is interesting because this is coming in the thought energy. Look at things from a different perspective. The energy here is water energy, which is Neptune, which is currently retrograde, I believe, through November. But I might be mistaken. Now, the way that's coming out in the 3D... Eight of Swords. So we have swords in the swords, at least. Which is a step in the right direction. This is the I want to break free card. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Alright, so looking at Eight of Swords, we have Jupiter in Gemini. So these are the nodes right now. But we're also dealing with Sagittarius energy. Jupiter up there. Jupiter down here. Gonna be going direct. And it's up right here. So we know in October that we're gonna be under this energy. But then the North Node is still Gemini. So it's kind of like for every sword, you get like a buy one, get one free. Every time you have a thought, you get another one stuck in there. Which is interesting because the ramp up from this was the Ten of Swords. But it's sort of like intellectually, you're like, okay, I'm trying to get some new perspective, so I'm going to start chipping away at these until I can get out of this toilet paper wrapping and get the frick out of here. It's kind of like an indication of I'm stuck, right? I'm at a temporary standstill. I'm not quite sure what to think right now. Right, the cowboy hat, I can't saddle up right now. My horse is coconuts and they're trapped under the swords. And then this ring here, again, the ring going the other way. I'm having trouble being true to my core self. So now here between this and the oracle, there's my chalet. This is like I'm trying to build a new foundation. It's like I'm just sort of vacationing in this territory, but I'll be able to build it up into a bigger castle to put myself in sooner or later. So it's sort of like if you split this 8 in half, you'd have 4, which is a foundational number. It's like I'm trying to get there, but I'm still stuck. I'm having a hard time. Now, what's going on in between here? What the actual blockage itself is. Okay, so we have 33. We have a key with 8 of Pentacles inverted. So that's telling me there's no work happening, which makes sense because the 3 is also inverted over here. We have the Sun inverted, Ace of Pentacles, so that tells me we have Moon energy. Right, there's like a lack of alignment, or it's like I feel like I'm with this sundial here. It's like I feel like I'm running out of time to solve the puzzle. You know, like it's like some ticking thing with a buzzer that's going to go off. But then we have the anchor, 9 of Swords, which is interesting because the anchor is supposed to be something good, but the 9 of Swords is usually a nightmare. Let me think about that for a minute. 9 of Swords energy. Mars in Gemini. Okay, so we're seeing repeating energies here. 8 of Pentacles. The Sun in Virgo. So essentially 2 suns inverted. And I'm getting this idea of like 2 years or 2 months. for some reason, it's also telling me 2 swords. Like, each sword has a sun attached to it. What is a Leo sword? It's a 10 swords. Is the one that has Leo on it. Interesting. Okay. What does that mean? Go from okay, it went from Gemini to Virgo. So there's a shift in the mercurial energy, which means a shift in communication. And I think 8 of Swords, also mercurial. So what's going on here is it says look at things from a different perspective. It's like until you have some sort of change in the energy of the communication or the change in the energy of your thoughts, you'll keep sort of setting anchor in this same thicket of trappy swords. But the key to getting out of it is doing the work, 8 of Pentacles, to sort of hold on to the different concepts as they kind of float by. Because mercurial energy is sort of like, you know, it's like, ooh, I've got an idea, but if you don't sort of sit in that idea, it might go away, and then you'll be like, crap, I had an idea, where'd it go? So it's like you've got to hold on to it tight. Now, what's this? I just broke her arm. So I have the feminine figure and this sea turtle. So this is giving me Venus energy, which is both Libra and Taurus, and the Empress. And we have a sea turtle here, which is giving me deeper emotions, kind of like the whale. They're both going the other way. So there's this idea of it's hard to hold on to these fleeting moments of thought because they're not anchored in your emotions, and that way there's no grounding either. But the odd thing is that you're picking up this signal of, yes, I'm going to be happy, but the elements behind it is like, oh, I'm trapped, nobody's helping me. But it's like the desire that keeps you going in the now is the desire to be happy. So while the emotions and the thoughts are scrambled all to shit, this directive is I need to be happy. I need to, like, you're just like trudging through the snow with a lead weight tied to you to get there. Okay. So for the physical world, the way that it's manifesting, Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. Right? So things are starting to be able to manifest, but the idea is that, like, in order to manifest things in the physical, you have to sort of get your thoughts out of your own ass, kind of. Right? Here's Honey Badger that fell out on top, right? Honey Badger doesn't give a shit. It's like, he attack, he snack. He doesn't get stung by bees. So there's a sort of like plod, as in to move slowly. Plodding tenacity of the honey badger to keep going, right? It's like, I'm gonna get happy, and I don't fucking give a shit who gets in my way. I'm gonna keep going. You try to stab me in the eyeballs, I will bite your ankles off. You know? But it's like, as your perspective shifts and you get more into your truth, this sort of challenging, like fight me bro energy gives way to this idea of, okay, I need to be in my truth of who I am to be able to manifest. Okay. Oh, the manifestation here is the Knight of Wands inverted. So it's like, I'm so now what's interesting is that we have in the 3D, I have Cups, Pentacles, Swords, and Wands. And the only one in the correct column is the Swords. So my thinking is scrambled. What I'm trying to do in the 3D world is scrambled too. My only direction is I'm going to come out and get this happiness by any means necessary. What happens is that, you know, I think I said something about my horse is lame over here. But either way, the Knight of Wands is coming in. He looks like he's drunk, too. He's like, duh, I'm so tired. But this is usually the fastest horse. But inverted, it's like slowed way down, right? It's like hurry up and wait energy. Like I'm going as hard and as fast as I can, and I'm just kind of like I'm in the quicksand. I'm not moving. But what's interesting is with the Knight inverted, we have the Hangman. So this directive is coming out a little bit off to the side, but sort of like it's like running really fast in the desert and then going into this sort of mirage trance, and you're just kind of like floating. It's gonna be a little bit of, well, anyway, let's see, like that part in Wayne's World 2 when he went in the desert and talked to Jim Morrison. All right, so what's the blockage here? Okay, so we have the Lilies 30, King of Swords inverted. I'm not surprised to see the King of Swords inverted. Now here I get the idea that we're sort of more enwrapped by fake things than by the reality. Right? I'm having a hard time finding out if you built this wall out of plastic or if it's the one that was in the plans. So we have a polar bear here. It's actually just bear, but it's a polar bear in this deck. So we have 10 of Wands here. This is indicating Saturn in Sagittarius. So we have that Capricorn and Jupiter energy together. And I think, well, by October, I think they're both actually upright. But we have this sort of nose to the grindstone energy. I'm also going to read Bear from the book because there's other stuff. So we have the Clouds, King of Wands inverted now as well. So we have 2 Kings inverted, and then this 10 of Wands here. 36 breaking down to 9. So it's giving me inverted Hermit. Virgo energy, Mercurial again. So again, this fleeting, like I can't seem to hold on to the idea energy. Like I'm not able to fully go within because every time I get a download, I forget it by the time I wake up, and I'm stuck in this nightmare. So let's read the Bear. Oh, I'm still because the mittens, I'm also getting bear hands. I do have a bear. Let me get my bear out of here. The bear here because it's essentially the same thing with the bear. My bear hands! Go to my middies. Also because it's cold in the polar areas. But let's read the Bear. 15. Power and strength, health and protection. Your finance is my field and your food is my concern. My bad side comes out when you see negative cards around. Authority figure, protective mother, or strength. It says a bear can relate to a person who is in a position of power in the business world. The bear can also be matriarchal. Might be a symbol of officialdom and brute force. This card could be telling us to push something through sheer force, right? Like I said, I'm gonna fucking get these no matter what. I'm gonna ride out and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Okay. So I see just very, like, I'm gonna, like, get my, oh, and even he's got gloves on too. Stove gloves. It's almost like it's too hot to handle, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And there's this, like, instead of just sort of floating in the ether, trying to hang on to the thoughts, or just sort of letting these mercurial downloads flow through until they kind of create their own, like, whirlpool of vision. It's like, oh, I missed one, crap, and then you're so upset that you missed the vision that you end up stuck in this sea of, I can't, these are all the visions that I lost. I can't see where I'm going. So it's kind of like being in the air element, Libra should understand that the air needs to kind of coalesce into a cloud until you can see something in it, right? It's like, I can't hold on to this vision. Well, wait for more vision to come in, and eventually you'll see the elephant here in the room. We'll see breakdown because I see 30 going down to 15, and then 30 is also divisible by 6, which would get 5, which is a third, 30 of 15. So, but I also see it's like half of the Emperor's energy because there's 2 kings here. So it's, again, it's like, what happens if you put in half masculine energy while it's retrograde? So I think that's what that's referring to. But let me see what this oracle card is. Now I see a cow here, and I see the calendar, and I get this idea of it's like you're milking it for time. You're milking the situation. Like, are you looking at the calendar? Like, how long is this going to take? You're just kind of wallowing in it. Now that might not be for everybody. I mean, there's sort of a sexual lady here with breastises and the cow here, so it might just be this idea of a need for nourishment from feminine energy. Doesn't have to be like a negative way, or it's like, I have a bone to pick with you, well now I need some more calcium. Like, how long is it going to take to restore my bones so that I'm fit enough to ride this horse? Okay, so we have 20 desire, which is kind of what's over here. Okay. This is in place of where judgment would be in the normal decks. This is giving me a little bit of like the drive behind the magician. Because I see the fire. I feel like these are supposed to be the 4 elements, like fire, earth, air, and then the lotus here is supposed to be water, and then the third eye is open. And it's, again, it's this idea of the visions are too mercurial, I can't see them. Well, if you sit for a while and let them just kind of swirl around, they'll actually form something after a while. But the desire is this, and like, I'm trying so hard because I want this. So it's like I desire to accomplish this task that my soul group and my soul has sent down to me in my physical body. I hear it and I want it, but I'm still confused. But the fact that the number that's associated with the judgment and karma is here is indicating to me that though Libra might face considerable energetic challenges in October, that there's enough of the message getting through that you know that you need to stand up for yourself and stop and like address the past wherein people may have taken advantage of you, and that you don't have to move forward with anger, that you can still be true to yourself and in your own power with this sort of strength and tenacity. In a way that won't make your horse throw you off it because you jumped on it too hard. Like Hi-Yo Silver, and then the horse is like, nah, I'm good. Now I notice a lot of orange here, which has to do with the sacral energy. That has to do with feeling secure in your own power before it starts generating the energy up into the solar center. And it would have to do a lot with healing the past in order to do so. Alright, so that's things for Libra to consider for October. If you see it later, that's fine. It's just when the energies filtered down for the reading. Alright, so if you want to get a personal reading, if you want to get this reading, you can get this reading. Again, the $37 Roadblock Mogul reading is $44 if you add charms to it, because it's $7 to add charms to any reading. Or you could get other readings that I have. The list is going to be in the description box of my infomercial video, which is going to be linked in the little Patreon description below here. It's on my YouTube. It has this as the thumbnail. And if you're already on Patreon, thanks so much. You can continue to donate if you want to. PayPal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. And then if you want, I've got prints and merch and coloring books. And you may have seen the post here for my catalog, which has actual art items on it, more chapbook packs, and a la carte pieces, and so on. Alright, so if you want to see other things that I'm doing, go ahead, and if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, and like, share, comment, check out my playlist tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.